When you read this video's title, Encouraging Learners to Speak English in Class, a lot of things might come to your mind at the same time since it's a broad topic. Yet, in this video, we're going to narrow down the scope of the topic and focus solely on 3 questions. First question, what do you have to take into consideration to effectively encourage learners to speak English in class? Second question, what does it mean to be a fluent speaker? And the third question, what's the best way to correct students' mistakes? Curious to find out? Well, stick around for another episode of Mehdi's Tips.
Are you crazy?
Hello guys, my name is Mehdi and welcome to another episode of the series Mehdi's Tips. In this series, I talk a lot about teaching, but most importantly, I give you practical tips on teaching. Hence the name Mehdi's Tips. So whether you are a novice or an experienced teacher and you are looking for fresh ideas, or you simply want to exchange opinions and ideas with other teachers, look no further, you have come to the right place. With that being said, let's pick up where we left off. If you remember, last time I've talked about repetitive on-the-spot correction of students' mistakes and the negative impact it can have on students' confidence. If you haven't seen the first part, click on the link that should appear here. In this part, I'll talk more in depth about encouraging learners to speak in order to achieve fluency. To do that, let's start off by making an assumption, and for simplicity's sake, we're going to assume that a learner of English goes through the following 3 stages to become a fluent speaker. Stage 1, we're going to call it beginner. Stage 2, building confidence. And stage 3, achieving fluency. In this stage, the learner is a complete beginner. He needs to learn some basic grammar and vocabulary to be able to produce simple language. Simple, but language nonetheless. In the second stage, the learner should be encouraged to speak English and not to worry about mistakes. Setting a safe, anxiety-free environment where students feel comfortable experimenting with the language is key. It goes without saying that mistakes are part of the experiment. Trial and error is undoubtedly one of the best ways to learn any skill. I personally highly encourage my students to speak and make mistakes because they will learn from them. In the third stage, once the learner have built some confidence and no longer feel anxious speaking English, we're going to assume that he will gradually become a little bit fluent as a speaker. Fluent? I'm sure that you heard this word a lot, especially from students. They would often say, I want to speak English fluently. The word fluently is widely used, but what does fluency really mean? Is it simply to be able to speak fast, or are there other features to take into account? To answer this question, I'm going to quote from Scott Thornberry's book, How to Teach Speaking, where he brilliantly and clearly defines fluency. First of all, Scott Thornberry do acknowledge speed as a feature of fluency, but he also speaks about 3 other features. For the first feature, Scott Thornberry points out pausing as being equally important as speed. We all have to pause from time to time to draw breath. Even proficient speakers have to pause from time to time to order their thoughts. But frequent pausing is a clear sign of a struggling speaker. If the speaker produces 1 word at a time like this, no matter how accurate the results are, the speaker will not be judged a fluent speaker. Feature number 2. Also important is the appropriate placement of pauses. Natural sounding pauses are those that occur at the intersection of clauses. Unnatural pauses, on the other hand, occur midway between related groups of words. The third feature in the perception of fluency is the length of run, which is the number of syllables and words between pauses. The longer the runs, the more fluent the speaker sounds. Now that we have defined fluency, I'd like to emphasize that fluency does not imply the correct use of English. The correct use of a language with very few mistakes is something that we call accuracy. We mustn't confuse between the two. As explained, a fluent speaker is someone who is able to speak easily, quickly, and with few pauses. Does he make mistakes? Yes, he does. But those mistakes don't cause the communication to break down. There might be sometimes momentarily communication breakdowns, but they are quickly repaired. To sum up, the feature of fluency can be summarized as follows. 1. Speaking speed. The faster, the more fluent you sound. 2. Pauses may be long but not frequent. 3. Pauses occur at meaningful transition points. And 4. There are more words and syllables between pauses. Before ending, one last question has to be answered. What do we do about students' mistakes? As I said before, I'm against on-the-spot repetitive correction of students' mistakes. Allow me to suggest an alternative way that can ensure both building confidence and achieving fluency. An alternative to on-the-spot correction is to postpone it until the end of the activity. This means that you have to keep record of errors while the speaking activity is in progress. At the end of the speaking activity, the mistakes can either be given to individual learners as feedback notes or dealt with orally in open class. I personally write the mistakes on the board and ask the students to work out the correction in pairs. This gives them the opportunity to think about mistakes and hopefully self-correct. After that, I go over the mistakes one by one with students. Advantages of delayed correction. You might ask, why is delayed correction better than on-the-spot correction? Well, delayed correction do have more benefits for the learners. First of all, it doesn't damage students' confidence because it doesn't put the students on the spot. The mistakes are anonymous and the whole class can actually learn from individual mistakes. Second, it gives the students a feeling of reassurance and safety because they know that their mistakes will be corrected. Therefore, they'll focus more on what they are saying and less on how they are saying it, which in turn creates the conditions for fluency. And lastly, delayed feedback is not solely intended to correct mistakes. You can also write correct sentences said by students as a way to give them credit for their efforts and boost their motivation. Reaching this point of the video, I have thus far spoken about a lot of things. So to wrap up, let's do a quick recap of what I spoke about in part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we have said that repetitive, on-the-spot correction of mistakes can be counterproductive because it damages students' confidence. In part 2, we have reminded the importance of setting a safe and anxiety-free environment to build students' confidence to speak English, which in turn creates conditions for fluency. Also, we have quoted from Scott Thornberry's book, How to Teach Speaking, to explain what does fluency really mean. And lastly, we have talked about delayed correction and the benefits it provides for the learners. With that being said, I hope you find the video informative and practical because unfortunately, we have reached the end of this episode. But no worries, there will be plenty other videos to come. Special thanks to my partner and my amigo Hish for helping me making this, but more importantly, thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe. You can react to the video by dropping comments below. You can also contact me via my email or my Facebook that you can find in the description below. Thanks again for watching. I'm your host Mehdi, and this was another episode of Mehdi's Tips, a channel where we make English learning and teaching easier, one video at a time.